What if I told you that in exactly 6 months from today, you could be living a completely different life, not just slightly better, not just a few improvements here and there, but fundamentally transformed in every area that matters? Your career, your relationships, your health, your finances, your confidence, your daily habits, even the way you think about yourself and your future. 6 months, 180 days. That's all it takes when you have the right system, the right mindset, and the right plan. Most people spend years wandering through life, hoping things will get better, waiting for the perfect moment, or trying random strategies that never seem to stick. They read a book, get motivated for a week, then fall back into old patterns. They set New Year's resolutions that are forgotten by February. They start diets, workout plans, business ideas, or personal development programs that fizzle out when life gets busy or challenging. But what if there was a different way? What if, instead of hoping for change, you could engineer it? What if, instead of random attempts at improvement, you had a systematic, proven blueprint that takes you from where you are now to where you want to be in exactly 6 months? That's exactly what this comprehensive system will give you. Over the next several hours, you'll discover the complete roadmap to transform your life in 6 months. Not surface-level changes that disappear when things get tough, but deep, lasting transformation that creates a new identity, new habits, and new results that compound for years to come. You'll learn the psychology behind why most people fail at change, and how to use that knowledge to guarantee your success. You'll get specific strategies, day-by-day action plans, and proven systems that remove guesswork and replace it with certainty. This isn't just another motivational speech or collection of vague advice. This is a scientific, systematic approach to human transformation based on neuroscience, behavioral psychology, and the success patterns of people who have achieved extraordinary results in record time. Every strategy you'll learn has been tested, refined, and proven to work not just in theory, but in the real world, with real people facing real challenges. By the time we're done, you'll have everything you need to make the next 6 months the most transformative period of your entire life. Chapter 1. The Foundation. Why 6 months changes everything. There's something almost magical about the 6-month time frame that most people completely overlook. It's not too short, like 30 or 90 days where you can only make surface-level changes. And it's not so long, like 5 or 10 years, where the goal feels distant and abstract. 6 months is the perfect sweet spot for deep, meaningful transformation, while maintaining urgency and momentum. Neuroscience tells us that it takes approximately 66 days to form a new habit. But that's just for simple behaviors like drinking a glass of water when you wake up. For complex behavioral changes, lifestyle shifts, and identity transformation, you need approximately 4 to 6 months for the new patterns to become truly automatic and integrated into who you are. This is why most people fail with shorter timelines. They're trying to rush a process that requires time to solidify. But here's what's even more powerful about 6 months. It's exactly the right amount of time to see compound effects begin to accelerate. In the first month, you're building momentum and breaking old patterns. In the second month, you're installing new systems and habits. By the third month, these new behaviors start to feel natural. In the fourth month, you begin to see significant results that motivate you to go further. The 5th month is where acceleration happens. Everything starts clicking together, and progress becomes exponential. And by the 6th month, you're not just doing different things. You've become a different person. Think about this. Every single area of your life is interconnected. When you improve your morning routine, it affects your energy levels throughout the day. When you increase your energy, you make better decisions about food, exercise, and work. When you make better decisions consistently, you build confidence. When you build confidence, you take bigger risks and create better opportunities. When you create opportunities, you improve your financial situation. When your finances improve, you reduce stress and improve your relationships. This is the compound effect of systematic change. The 6-month time frame also aligns perfectly with how our brains process goals and motivation. Goals that are too far away trigger our brain's tendency to procrastinate because they don't feel urgent. Goals that are too close create panic and overwhelm because there isn't enough time to create sustainable change. 6 months creates what psychologists call optimal temporal distance. Close enough to feel real and urgent, far enough away to allow for meaningful progress and course correction. Most importantly, 6 months is long enough to go through multiple cycles of implementation, feedback, and adjustment. You'll have setbacks, obstacles, and unexpected challenges. 6 months gives you time to learn from these experiences, adapt your approach, and still achieve your goals. It's a realistic timeline that accounts for real life while still maintaining the urgency needed for dramatic change. The key is understanding that transformation isn't linear. You don't improve by the same amount each day for 6 months. Instead, you build foundations in the early months that allow for exponential growth in the later months. Month 1 might feel slow as you're breaking old patterns and building new systems. Month 2 is about consistency and momentum. But by months 4, 5, and 6, you'll experience quantum leaps in progress that make up for the seemingly slower start. This is why so many people quit too early. They expect immediate results and give up just before the exponential phase kicks in. But when you understand the true timeline of transformation and trust the process, 6 months becomes the perfect period to completely reinvent your life while building changes that last for decades. Chapter 2. The Vision. Designing your transformed life. Before you can transform your life, you need to know exactly what your transformed life looks like. Most people skip this crucial step and wonder why they lose motivation or direction halfway through their journey. They have vague desires like, "I want to be healthier," or "I want to be more successful," but no clear vision of what that actually means or looks like in their daily experience. Creating a compelling vision isn't just about setting goals. It's about designing a complete picture of who you're becoming and how that person lives, thinks, and operates. Your vision needs to be so clear and compelling that it pulls you forward even when motivation fades, obstacles appear, or progress feels slow. Start by imagining yourself exactly 6 months from today. But don't just think about what you want to achieve. Think about who you want to become. What does this transformed version of yourself do differently every single day? How do they start their morning? What habits do they have that you don't have now? How do they handle stress, setbacks, and challenges. What skills have they developed? How do they think about problems and opportunities? What does their confidence level look like? How do they interact with other people? Get specific about every area of your life. In your career, what level are you operating at? What new skills have you mastered? What value are you providing that you're not providing now? What opportunities have you created or taken advantage of? In your health, what does your body look like and feel like? What's your energy level throughout the day? What habits have you eliminated? And what new ones have you installed? In your relationships, how have you grown as a partner, friend, parent, or colleague? What new boundaries have you set? What communication skills have you developed? Your financial life, 6 months from now, what's different? Are you earning more? Spending more wisely? Investing consistently? Building multiple income streams? Have you eliminated debt or built an emergency fund? Your personal development? What books have you read? What courses have you completed? What mentors have you found? What limiting beliefs have you overcome? But here's the crucial part. Your vision must be grounded in reality, while still being inspiring. It should stretch you significantly, but not be so unrealistic that your subconscious mind rejects it as impossible. You're not going to go from making $50,000 to making $1 million in 6 months. But you could realistically increase your income by 20 to 50% with the right strategies and execution. The most powerful visions include what you're moving toward and what you're moving away from. What are you tired of in your current life? What patterns, habits, relationships, or situations do you want to leave behind forever? Sometimes the pain of staying the same becomes more motivating than the pleasure of changing. Use both forces to create unstoppable momentum. Write your vision in present tense as if it's already happened. Instead of, I want to wake up at 5 a.m., write, I wake up at 5 a.m. feeling energized and excited to start my day. Instead of, I hope to read more books, write, I consistently read for 1 hour every morning and have completed 12 books that have transformed my thinking. Your subconscious mind responds to present tense statements as commands and begins to align your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors with this new identity. Make your vision sensory-rich. Don't just think about what you'll accomplish. Think about how it will feel, what it will look like, even what it will sound like. The more vivid and emotionally compelling your vision, the more power it has to motivate you through difficult moments and keep you focused on what matters most. Finally, your vision should be yours alone. Don't create a vision based on what other people expect from you or what society tells you should want. This transformation is about becoming the best version of yourself, not becoming someone else's idea of who you should be. The more authentic and personally meaningful your vision, the more sustainable your motivation will be throughout the 6-month journey. Chapter 3. Month 1. Breaking old patterns and installing new systems. Month 1 is the foundation month, and it's arguably the most critical phase of your entire transformation. This is where you'll break the automatic patterns that have been keeping you stuck and install the new systems that will carry you to success. Most people fail during month 1 because they try to change everything at once, or they underestimate the power of their existing patterns. Your current life is the result of systems, not goals. You wake up at a certain time because you have a system for that. You eat certain foods because you have a system for shopping, cooking, and eating. You have certain financial results because you have a system for earning, spending, and saving money. You have certain relationships because you have a system for how you communicate and connect with people. To change your results, you must change your systems. The first week of month 1 is about awareness and assessment. You need to become conscious of your current patterns before you can change them. For 7 days, track everything without trying to change anything yet. What time do you actually wake up? What's the first thing you do? How much time do you spend on your phone? What do you eat? And when? How do you spend your work hours? What do you do in the evening? How do you interact with the people in your life? This isn't about judgment. It's about gathering data. Week 2 is about identifying the keystone habits that will create the biggest positive impact. A keystone habit is a behavior that naturally triggers other positive behaviors. For most people, a morning routine is the ultimate keystone habit. When you start your day with intention and discipline, it sets the tone for better decisions throughout the entire day. Other common keystone habits include regular exercise, daily reading, meal planning, or a consistent sleep schedule. Choose 1 to 3 keystone habits maximum for month 1. The temptation will be to try to install 10 new habits at once, but this approach fails because it overwhelms your brain's capacity for change. Your willpower is limited, especially in the beginning when new behaviors require conscious effort. Focus on 1 to 3 habits that will create the most positive ripple effects. Week 3 and 4 are about implementation and adjustment. Start small with your new habits, ridiculously small. If you want to start exercising, begin with 5 minutes a day. If you want to read more, start with just 10 pages. If you want to wake up earlier, move your wake-up time 15 minutes earlier, not 2 hours. The goal is consistency, not intensity. You're building new neural pathways, and that requires repetition more than perfection. During month 1, you'll also need to address the environment and triggers that support your old patterns. If you want to eat healthier, remove junk food from your house. If you want to read more, put books in visible places and put your phone in another room. If you want to exercise in the morning, lay out your workout clothes the night before. Change your environment to make good choices easier and bad choices harder. Expect resistance during month 1. Your brain is wired to keep you safe and comfortable, which means it will try to pull you back to familiar patterns, even when those patterns aren't serving you. This resistance isn't a sign that you're failing. It's a sign that you're changing. Acknowledge the resistance without letting it stop you. Have a plan for how you'll handle the moments when motivation is low and the old patterns feel more appealing. Track your progress daily during month 1, but focus on consistency rather than perfection. If you miss a day, don't make it 2 days. If you have a setback, learn from it and get back on track immediately. The goal isn't to be perfect. It's to be better than you were yesterday and to build momentum that will carry you through the remaining 5 months. By the end of month 1, your new keystone habits should start to feel more natural, though they won't be completely automatic yet. You should have more awareness of your patterns and triggers. Most importantly, you should have proof that you can change, which builds the confidence necessary for the more challenging months ahead. Chapter 4, Month 2. Building unstoppable momentum through habit stacking. Month 2 is where you take the foundation you built in month 1 and accelerate your progress through a powerful technique called habit stacking. This is where your transformation starts to gain serious momentum, because you're not just maintaining new habits, you're strategically linking them together to create compound effects. Habit stacking works by connecting a new habit you want to build with an existing habit you already do consistently. The formula is simple. After I do X, I will do Y. After I pour my morning coffee, I will write in my journal for 5 minutes. After I sit down at my desk, I will review my priorities for the day. After I eat lunch, I will take a 10-minute walk. The existing habit becomes the trigger for the new habit, making it much easier to remember and implement. But month 2 isn't just about adding more habits. It's about creating what I call a success sequence, a series of connected behaviors that naturally flow from one to the next, creating momentum that carries you through your entire day. Instead of relying on willpower for each individual habit, you create a system where completing one habit makes the next habit easier and more likely to happen. Start your month 2 by designing your ideal morning sequence. This might look like: wake up, make bed, drink water, exercise for 20 minutes, shower, meditate for 10 minutes, review goals, eat healthy breakfast, and start work. Each action flows naturally into the next, and completing the sequence becomes a single habit, rather than 8 separate habits that each require willpower. The key to successful habit stacking in month 2 is understanding energy management. Different types of habits require different levels of mental energy, and you want to sequence them strategically. Put your most challenging or important new habits when your willpower and energy are highest, typically in the morning. Stack easier habits or habits you already enjoy during lower energy times. Month 2 is also when you'll start to see the compound effects of your month 1 changes. If you started waking up earlier in month 1, you now have extra time that you can use strategically. If you began exercising consistently, your energy levels are probably higher, making other positive changes easier. If you started reading daily, you're gaining knowledge that can be applied to other areas of improvement. Use these early wins to build more momentum. Success breeds success. So celebrate your progress and use the confidence you're building to tackle slightly bigger challenges. Maybe in month 1 you started with 10 push-ups. In month 2 you might add a full 15-minute workout. Maybe in month 1 you read for 10 minutes. In month 2 you might join an online course or find a mentor. Month 2 is also when you need to start thinking systems instead of just habits. A habit is a single behavior. A system is a collection of habits that work together to produce a specific outcome. If your goal is better health, your system might include meal planning on Sundays, shopping for groceries on Monday, preparing meals in advance, exercising 4 times per week, drinking 8 glasses of water daily, and going to bed by 10 p.m. Each individual habit supports the others and the overall system. Create accountability systems during month 2. This might mean finding a workout partner, joining an online community of people with similar goals, hiring a coach, or simply sharing your progress with a trusted friend. External accountability becomes crucial during month 2 because the novelty of change is wearing off, but the habits aren't yet automatic. Having someone else invested in your success helps you push through the inevitable resistance. Month 2 is also when you should start tracking leading indicators rather than just outcomes. Instead of only weighing yourself, track how many days you exercised and what you ate. Instead of only looking at your bank account, track how much you saved and spent each day. Instead of only measuring your productivity, track how many hours you worked without distraction. Leading indicators give you daily feedback and help you stay focused on the behaviors that create results. By the end of month 2, you should have a solid morning routine, at least one strong habit stack, and clear systems in the areas of life you're working to improve. You should also have momentum, the feeling that positive change is becoming easier and more natural. This momentum is crucial because month 3 is where you'll start adding skill development and knowledge acquisition to your transformation. Chapter 5. Month 3. Skill acquisition and knowledge acceleration. Month 3 marks a crucial shift in your transformation journey. While the first 2 months focused on changing behaviors and building systems, month 3 is about upgrading your capabilities. This is where you start acquiring new skills, expanding your knowledge, and developing competencies that will multiply your results in the final 3 months. The foundation you've built in months 1 and 2 creates the perfect platform for accelerated learning. Your improved morning routine gives you dedicated time for skill development. Your increased energy from better habits enhances your ability to focus and retain information. Your growing confidence from early wins makes you more willing to step outside your comfort zone and tackle challenging new skills. Start month 3 by identifying the 3 to 5 most important skills that would have the biggest impact on your goals. If you're focused on career advancement, this might include public speaking, digital marketing, project management, or leadership skills. If you're building a business, you might focus on sales, content creation, financial analysis, or customer service. If you're improving your relationships, you might develop emotional intelligence, communication skills, or conflict resolution abilities. The key to successful skill acquisition is understanding that all skills have patterns, and you can learn these patterns much faster than you think. Most people approach learning new skills haphazardly, jumping from resource to resource without a clear progression. But when you understand how skill acquisition actually works, you can compress months or years of learning into weeks. Every skill can be broken down into sub-skills, and these sub-skills can be practiced independently. If you want to become a better public speaker, you can separately practice voice projection, storytelling, body language, audience engagement, and presentation structure. By isolating and practicing individual components, you improve faster than trying to practice everything at once. Use the 80-20 principle for skill acquisition. Identify the 20% of any skill that will give you 80% of the results. For most skills, there are core fundamentals that create disproportionate impact. In sales, it might be asking good questions and listening actively. In writing, it might be clear structure and compelling headlines. In fitness, it might be consistency and progressive overload. Focus on mastering the fundamentals before moving to advanced techniques. Month 3 is also when you should implement what I call knowledge acceleration, systematically consuming and applying information that supports your transformation. This goes beyond casual reading or watching random videos. You need a structured approach to learning that includes input, processing, and application. Create a daily learning routine during month 3. This might include reading for 30 minutes each morning, listening to educational podcasts during commute time, watching one educational video during lunch, and reviewing and applying what you learned each evening. The key is consistency and active engagement rather than passive consumption. Choose your learning sources carefully. Instead of randomly consuming content, identify the 3 to 5 best resources for each skill you're developing. This might include specific books, online courses, podcasts, YouTube channels, or mentors. Quality is more important than quantity. It's better to deeply understand 5 excellent resources than to superficially consume 50 mediocre ones. Practice active learning techniques during month 3. Don't just read or listen passively. Take notes, summarize key concepts in your own words, discuss what you're learning with others, and most importantly, apply new concepts immediately. The faster you can take information from input to application, the faster you'll see results. Month 3 is also perfect for finding mentors or teachers who can accelerate your learning. This doesn't necessarily mean formal mentoring relationships. You might join online communities, attend local meetups, take online courses with active instructors, or even reach out to people you admire for brief conversations. Most successful people are willing to help others who are genuinely committed to improvement. Implement deliberate practice during month 3. This means practicing with the specific intention of improving rather than just going through the motions. Identify your weaknesses in each skill and focus your practice time on those areas. Get feedback frequently, either from mentors, peers, or through objective measurement. Push yourself slightly beyond your current comfort zone with each practice session. Track your skill development progress during month 3. Keep a learning journal where you record what you studied, what you practiced, what you learned, and how you applied it. Review this journal weekly to identify patterns, celebrate progress, and adjust your learning strategy. Seeing your knowledge and skills compound day by day becomes incredibly motivating. By the end of month 3, you should have made significant progress in 3 to 5 key skills, established a sustainable learning routine, and built connections with mentors or learning communities. More importantly, you should start to see how your new skills are enhancing the results from your improved habits and systems. This is where the compound effect of transformation really starts to accelerate. Chapter 6. Month 4. Acceleration through strategic execution and compound results. Month 4 is where everything you've built in the first 3 months starts to compound into exponential results. This is the acceleration phase, where your new habits feel natural, your skills are becoming useful, and you can shift your focus from building systems to optimizing and scaling them for maximum impact. Most people are amazed at how much progress they can make in month 4 because they finally have momentum working for them instead of against them. By now, your morning routine should be automatic. You're not thinking about whether to exercise or read or meditate. You're just doing it because it's become part of who you are. This automaticity frees up mental energy that you can now redirect toward bigger challenges and opportunities. Your improved habits have increased your energy levels, sharpened your focus, and built confidence that makes you more willing to take calculated risks and pursue ambitious goals. Month 4 is when you shift from maintenance mode to growth mode. Instead of just maintaining the habits and skills you've developed, you start pushing the boundaries and looking for ways to multiply your results. If you've been reading for 30 minutes each morning, month 4 is when you might add a monthly book club or start a reading challenge. If you've been exercising consistently, month 4 is when you might hire a trainer, join a gym with better equipment, or sign up for a challenging event like a race or competition. The key to month 4 is understanding leverage, how to get more results from the same amount of effort or the same results from less effort. You've built the foundation. Now you need to optimize the systems. Look at each area of your life where you've made progress and ask yourself, how can I get 10 times better results from this system? How can I automate, delegate, or streamline this process? What tools, people, or resources could multiply my effectiveness? In your career, month 4 might be when you start applying for better positions, negotiating for a raise, launching a side business, or taking on high-visibility projects that showcase your new skills. You've spent 3 months developing capabilities. Now it's time to leverage those capabilities for career advancement. Don't wait for someone else to notice your progress. Actively seek opportunities to demonstrate your growth and value. For your health and fitness, month 4 is about optimization and challenge. If you've been doing basic workouts, it's time to add intensity, variety, or specific goals. Consider working with a nutritionist to fine-tune your diet. Joining a sports league to make fitness more social and competitive, or setting a challenging physical goal like running a half marathon or completing a difficult hiking trail. In your relationships, month 4 is when you can start applying the communication and emotional intelligence skills you've been developing. Have conversations you've been avoiding, set boundaries you've been postponing, or invest more time in relationships that matter most to you. Your increased confidence and emotional stability from the first 3 months make this the perfect time to level up your connections with others. Financially, month 4 should focus on acceleration and multiplication. If you've been saving consistently, consider investing in assets that can grow your money. If you've been reducing expenses, look for ways to increase income through your new skills or improved performance. If you've been learning about money management, start implementing more advanced strategies like tax optimization, passive income streams, or retirement planning. Month 4 is also when you should start thinking about your personal brand and reputation. The changes you've made internally are now visible externally, and people are starting to notice. Be intentional about how you present yourself and the value you provide to others. This might mean updating your social media profiles, networking more strategically, contributing to industry discussions, or sharing your expertise through writing or speaking. One of the most important aspects of month 4 is learning to say no to opportunities that don't align with your vision and goals. Success creates options, but too many options can become a distraction. You'll have people asking you to take on projects, attend events, or commit to activities that might seem appealing, but don't support your transformation. Practice selective focus and protect the time and energy you've worked so hard to optimize. Month 4 is also when you should start documenting and sharing your progress, not for external validation, but because teaching others what you've learned accelerates your own understanding and creates accountability. Consider starting a blog, journal, or video log about your transformation. Share your strategies with friends or colleagues who could benefit. The act of explaining your process to others deepens your own understanding and commitment. Expect month 4 to feel challenging in new ways. You're no longer fighting against old habits, but you're pushing into territory that requires higher levels of skill, courage, and strategic thinking. This discomfort is a sign of growth. Embrace it and use it as fuel for continued progress. The person you're becoming requires you to operate at a higher level than you're currently comfortable with. Risk-taking becomes important in month 4. But calculated risk-taking based on the confidence and capabilities you've built. This might mean applying for a stretch role at work, starting a creative project you've been considering, investing in yourself through coaching or education, or having difficult conversations that could improve your relationships. You've built a foundation strong enough to handle some uncertainty and potential setbacks. By the end of month 4, you should feel like you're living in a different league than you were 4 months ago. Your daily experience should be noticeably different. You should have more energy, clearer thinking, better relationships, improved finances, and most importantly, unshakable confidence in your ability to create positive change in your life. This confidence becomes the foundation for even bigger transformations in months 5 and 6. Chapter 7. Month 5. Optimization and Advanced Strategies for Peak Performance. Month 5 is the optimization month, where you fine-tune everything you've built and implement advanced strategies that separate the top performers from everyone else. By now, your basic systems are running smoothly. Your new skills are becoming competencies, and you have the confidence to tackle more sophisticated approaches to personal and professional excellence. The difference between month 5 and the previous months is depth over breadth. Instead of adding more habits or learning more skills, you're going deeper into optimization, refinement, and advanced applications of what you've already built. This is where you start thinking like a true high performer who continuously seeks small improvements that create massive cumulative effects. Start month 5 with a comprehensive review and analysis of your progress so far. Look at every system you've implemented, every habit you've built, and every skill you've developed. What's working exceptionally well? What's working but could be optimized? What's not working and needs to be adjusted or eliminated? This analysis becomes the foundation for your optimization strategy. In month 5, you'll implement what successful people call marginal gains. Finding small improvements in every aspect of your systems that add up to significant overall improvement. Maybe your morning routine is working well, but you could optimize it by preparing everything the night before, or by adjusting the sequence to maximize energy and focus. Maybe your learning routine is consistent, but you could optimize it by using spaced repetition techniques or finding higher quality resources. Advanced time management becomes crucial in month 5. You're no longer just managing your calendar. You're optimizing your energy, attention, and decision-making capacity throughout the day. This means understanding your natural energy rhythms and scheduling your most important work during peak hours. It means batching similar tasks together to minimize context switching. It means creating buffer time around important activities so you can show up fully present and prepared. Month 5 is when you should start implementing advanced goal setting and tracking systems. Instead of just setting outcome goals, you create process goals, leading indicators, and feedback loops that give you real-time data about your progress. Instead of just tracking whether you exercised, you track the quality of your workouts, your recovery metrics, and how exercise affects your energy and mood throughout the day. This level of data gives you insights that allow for continuous optimization. Relationship optimization becomes a focus in month 5. You've improved your communication skills and emotional intelligence. Now you apply these strategically to strengthen your most important relationships and build new connections that support your continued growth. This might mean scheduling regular one-on-one time with key people in your life, implementing better conflict resolution strategies, or joining communities where you can connect with others who share your ambitions and values. Financial optimization accelerates in month 5. You've built better money habits. Now you implement advanced strategies for wealth building and financial security. This might include maximizing tax-advantaged investments, creating multiple income streams, negotiating better terms on major expenses, or investing in assets that appreciate over time. The goal isn't just to save money, but to make money work for you through strategic allocation and compound growth. Month 5 is also when you should focus on developing what psychologists call metacognition, thinking about thinking. You become more aware of your thought patterns, decision-making processes, and cognitive biases. This awareness allows you to make better decisions, solve problems more effectively, and avoid the mental traps that limit most people's potential. Practice observing your thoughts without judgment and questioning your assumptions regularly. Advanced learning techniques become important in month 5. You move beyond just consuming information to implementing sophisticated learning strategies like the Feynman technique, where you learn by teaching concepts to others. You use spaced repetition to improve long-term retention. You practice deliberate practice in specific skill areas where you want to achieve mastery. You seek out mentors and coaches who can accelerate your development in key areas. Month 5 is when you should start building what successful entrepreneurs call systems thinking, understanding how different parts of your life interact and influence each other. Your health affects your work performance. Your relationships affect your emotional state. Your financial stress affects your decision-making. By understanding these interconnections, you can make changes in one area that create positive ripple effects throughout your entire life. Recovery and stress management become more sophisticated in month 5. You're operating at a higher level now, which means you need better strategies for managing stress and recovering from intense periods of work or challenge. This might include advanced sleep optimization, meditation practices, regular massage or body work, or sophisticated stress monitoring tools that help you maintain peak performance without burning out. Creative expression and innovation should emerge in month 5. You've built a strong foundation and developed confidence. Now you can afford to experiment, create, and innovate. This might mean starting a creative project you've always wanted to pursue, developing a unique approach to problems in your field, or finding ways to combine your various skills and interests into something new and valuable. Month 5 is also when you should start thinking about legacy and contribution. You've experienced significant personal transformation. Now consider how you can use your growth to benefit others. This might mean mentoring someone else who's starting their transformation journey, volunteering for causes you care about, or finding ways to contribute to your community or industry based on your new capabilities. By the end of month 5, you should be operating at a level that would have seemed impossible when you started this journey. Your systems should be highly optimized. Your skills should be approaching competency in key areas, and you should have the confidence and capability to tackle challenges that would have overwhelmed you just 5 months ago. You're now ready for the final month where you'll integrate everything and set the foundation for continued growth beyond the 6-month period. Chapter 8. Month 6. Integration, Mastery, and Building Your Sustainable Success System. Month 6 is where everything comes together. This isn't just the final month of your transformation. It's the beginning of your new life operating system. The focus shifts from building and optimizing to integration and sustainability. You're no longer becoming a different person. You are a different person. And month 6 is about solidifying this new identity and creating systems that ensure your continued growth for years to come. The most important realization of month 6 is that transformation isn't a destination. It's a way of being. The habits, skills, and mindsets you've developed over the past 5 months aren't temporary changes you've made to achieve specific goals. They're part of your new identity. And your new identity naturally produces the results you want without constant effort or willpower. Start month 6 by conducting a comprehensive life audit. Compare where you are now to where you were 6 months ago in every area of your life. Look beyond just the obvious changes to the subtle shifts in how you think, how you respond to challenges, how you make decisions, and how you interact with the world. The depth of your transformation is often more profound than you realize when you're in the middle of it. Month 6 is about integration, making sure all the different areas of improvement work together harmoniously rather than competing for your time and energy. Your health habits should support your career performance. Your learning should enhance your relationships. Your financial strategies should align with your personal values. When all areas of your life are integrated and mutually supportive, you achieve what psychologists call flow, a state where peak performance feels effortless. This is the month to implement what I call your personal operating system, a comprehensive framework that guides your decisions, priorities, and actions automatically. This system includes your core values, your long-term vision, your non-negotiable daily practices, your decision-making criteria, and your methods for continuous improvement. With a clear operating system, you don't have to constantly figure out what to do. You simply follow the system that you know produces the results you want. Creating sustainable momentum is crucial in month 6. The changes you've made need to continue generating progress even when your motivation fluctuates or when life presents unexpected challenges. This means building redundancy into your systems so that missing one component doesn't derail everything. It means creating external accountability and support structures that help you maintain standards. It means developing internal motivation that comes from identity rather than outcomes. Month 6 is when you should focus on what psychologists call implementation intentions. Specific, then plans for handling obstacles and maintaining your progress. If you're traveling, then you have a plan for maintaining your exercise routine. If work gets stressful, then you have a plan for protecting your sleep and self-care practices. If you face a financial setback, then you have a plan for maintaining your financial discipline. These pre-planned responses prevent temporary challenges from becoming permanent reversals. Advanced goal setting for your post-transformation life becomes important in month 6. You need goals that build on your new foundation rather than starting from scratch. These should be goals that would have been impossible or overwhelming 6 months ago, but are now within your expanded capabilities. Think in terms of what psychologists call proximal goals, challenging but achievable next steps that maintain your momentum without overwhelming your systems. Month 6 is also about developing what successful people call compound habits, behaviors that naturally reinforce and multiply each other. Your morning routine isn't just a collection of individual habits. It's a compound habit that sets up success for your entire day. Your learning routine isn't just about acquiring information. It's a compound habit that continuously expands your capabilities and opportunities. Your relationship practices aren't just about maintaining connections. They're compound habits that create a network of support and opportunity. Mental and emotional mastery reach a new level in month 6. You've developed the skills and experiences to handle stress, uncertainty, and challenge with grace and effectiveness. You understand your emotional patterns and have tools for managing difficult states. You've built confidence through competence and proof of your ability to create positive change. This emotional stability becomes the foundation for taking bigger risks and pursuing bigger opportunities. Month 6 is when you should start thinking about your contribution and legacy. You've invested significant time and energy in your own development. Now consider how you can use your growth to benefit others. This might mean becoming a mentor, sharing your knowledge through writing or speaking, supporting causes you care about, or simply being an example of what's possible when someone commits to continuous improvement. Creating what I call growth triggers becomes important in month 6. These are built-in mechanisms that ensure you continue growing rather than becoming complacent with your progress. This might include quarterly goal reviews, annual challenges that push you outside your comfort zone, regular feedback from mentors or coaches, or commitments to learn new skills or take on new responsibilities regularly. Month 6 is also about developing sophisticated decision-making frameworks that help you navigate complex choices with confidence. You've experienced the power of good decision-making over the past 5 months. Now, you create systems that help you consistently make decisions that align with your values and support your long-term success. This includes criteria for saying yes and no to opportunities, methods for evaluating trade-offs, and processes for making decisions under uncertainty. Building your personal board of advisors becomes crucial in month 6. Just as successful companies have boards that provide guidance and accountability, successful individuals need trusted advisors who can provide perspective, challenge thinking, and offer support during difficult decisions. This might include mentors, coaches, peers, or simply trusted friends who understand your goals and aren't afraid to give you honest feedback. By the end of month 6, you should have a complete life transformation that feels sustainable and natural. You shouldn't feel like you're maintaining a difficult routine. You should feel like you're simply living according to your values and identity. Your new habits and skills should feel as natural as your old ones once did. But they should be producing dramatically better results in every area of your life. Most importantly, you should have absolute confidence in your ability to continue growing and evolving. You've proven to yourself that you can identify what needs to change, create a plan for changing it, and execute that plan consistently until the changes become permanent. This confidence becomes the foundation for whatever goals and challenges you choose to pursue next. Chapter 9. Advanced strategies for overcoming plateaus and accelerating growth. Even with a perfect system and consistent execution, you will encounter plateaus during your transformation journey. These are periods where progress seems to slow down or stop entirely. Despite maintaining your habits and continuing your efforts. Understanding how to recognize, navigate, and break through plateaus is what separates those who achieve short-term improvement from those who achieve lasting transformation and continuous growth. Plateaus are not failures. They're a natural part of any growth process. They occur because your brain and body adapt to new challenges and routines, making them feel easier, but also less stimulating for continued improvement. What once required significant effort and produced noticeable results now feels automatic and generates smaller, incremental gains. This adaptation is actually a sign of success. It means you've successfully integrated new behaviors into your identity. The first step in overcoming plateaus is recognizing them early. Many people mistake plateaus for failure and abandon their systems just when they need to adjust them. Signs of a plateau include decreased motivation despite consistent habits, feeling like you're going through the motions without engagement, results that have flattened despite continued effort, or a sense that your current systems are no longer challenging you. When you recognize a plateau, resist the urge to completely overhaul your systems or abandon them entirely. Instead, implement what I call strategic disruption, making targeted changes that introduce new challenges without destroying the foundation you've built. This might mean increasing the intensity or duration of your workouts, rather than changing your entire exercise routine. It might mean reading more challenging books, rather than stopping your reading habit entirely. One of the most effective plateau-breaking strategies is the progressive overload principle, borrowed from fitness, but applicable to any area of improvement. This means gradually increasing the demands on your system to continue driving adaptation and growth. If you've been reading for 30 minutes daily, increase to 45 minutes. If you've been saving 10% of your income, increase to 15%. If you've been networking once per week, increase to twice per week. Another powerful strategy is cross-training, applying skills and insights from one area of your life to accelerate progress in another area. The discipline you've developed through physical exercise can be applied to financial discipline. The communication skills you've learned in your relationships can be applied to your career advancement. The strategic thinking you've developed for personal goals can be applied to business opportunities. This cross-pollination often creates breakthrough insights and accelerated progress. Constraint introduction is another advanced strategy for breaking through plateaus. This involves intentionally adding limitations that force you to find more efficient or creative solutions. If you want to improve your productivity, give yourself less time to complete tasks and see how you adapt. If you want to improve your communication, practice explaining complex ideas in simple terms. If you want to improve your financial management, try living on a reduced budget for a month. Seeking discomfort and challenge becomes crucial when you hit plateaus. Comfort is the enemy of growth, and plateaus often occur when your current systems have become too comfortable. Look for ways to introduce appropriate levels of discomfort and challenge. Take on projects that stretch your capabilities. Put yourself in situations that require you to use your new skills under pressure. Sign up for competitions or events that push you beyond your current comfort zone. Feedback intensification is essential for plateau breakthrough. Often, plateaus occur because you're no longer getting clear feedback about your progress. Implement more sophisticated measurement and tracking systems. Work with coaches or mentors who can provide objective assessment of your progress. Join communities where you can receive honest feedback from peers. Record yourself performing key skills and analyze your performance objectively. The teaching and mentoring strategy can also break you through plateaus while simultaneously contributing to others. Teaching forces you to understand concepts at a deeper level and often reveals gaps in your knowledge or skills. Mentoring others who are earlier in their journey reminds you of how far you've come and often provides fresh perspectives on familiar challenges. Both activities can reignite your passion for continued improvement. Environment optimization becomes more important as you advance in your transformation. Your current environment supported your early changes, but continued growth might require a more challenging or inspiring environment. This might mean working from more stimulating locations, surrounding yourself with higher-performing peers, joining more advanced groups or communities, or even making larger changes like relocating to a city with better opportunities. Identity evolution is perhaps the most powerful plateau-breaking strategy. Often, plateaus occur because your self-concept hasn't kept pace with your actual capabilities. You might still think of yourself as someone who struggles with discipline, even though you've demonstrated consistent discipline for months. You might still think of yourself as someone who isn't good with money, even though you've dramatically improved your financial habits. Consciously updating your identity to match your new reality often unlocks new levels of performance. The compound challenge approach involves combining multiple areas of improvement into integrated challenges that create exponential rather than linear growth. Instead of working on health, career, and relationships separately, create challenges that improve all three simultaneously. This might involve training for a charity race that improves your health while building relationships and advancing your career through networking and fundraising. Reverse engineering success involves studying people who have achieved what you want to achieve and systematically implementing their strategies and mindsets. This goes beyond casual observation to deep analysis of their systems, thought processes, and approaches to obstacles. Often, breakthrough insights come from understanding how successful people think about and approach problems differently than average performers. Cyclical periodization involves intentionally cycling between different types and intensities of focus to prevent staleness and maintain long-term progress. Just as athletes cycle between different training phases, you can cycle between periods of intense focus and active recovery, between skill building and application, between individual work and collaborative projects. This prevents burnout while maintaining continuous progress. Remember that overcoming plateaus requires patience and persistence. The breakthrough often comes just when you're most tempted to give up or make dramatic changes. Trust the process. Implement these advanced strategies systematically and maintain faith in your ability to continue growing. Every plateau you overcome makes you stronger and more capable of handling future challenges and achieving higher levels of success. Chapter 10. Creating your personal success blueprint for lifelong excellence. Your 6-month transformation is complete, but this isn't the end of your journey. It's the beginning of a lifetime of intentional growth and continuous excellence. The habits, skills, and mindsets you've developed over the past 6 months are just the foundation for what's possible when you commit to being a person who never stops improving. This final chapter is about creating your personal success blueprint. a comprehensive system for maintaining your progress and achieving whatever goals you set for the rest of your life. The first principle of lifelong excellence is understanding that success is not a destination but a way of traveling. The person you've become over the past 6 months, disciplined, skilled, confident, and growth-oriented, is far more valuable than any specific goal you've achieved. Goals change, circumstances change, but the ability to systematically improve any area of your life is a capability that serves you forever. Your personal success blueprint starts with what I call your identity architecture, a clear definition of who you are and who you're becoming that guides all your decisions and actions. This isn't a static description, but a dynamic framework that evolves as you grow. Your identity architecture includes your core values, your fundamental beliefs about what's possible, your standards for how you operate in the world, and your vision for the impact you want to make. Values become your decision-making compass. When you're clear about what matters most to you, whether that's growth, contribution, integrity, adventure, or security, decisions become much easier. Instead of agonizing over every choice, you simply ask, which option best aligns with my values? This clarity eliminates much of the stress and uncertainty that derails most people's progress toward their goals. Your fundamental beliefs about possibility determine what goals you set and how persistently you pursue them. If you believe that extraordinary results are possible for you, you'll set bigger goals and persist longer when facing obstacles. If you believe that continuous improvement is natural and enjoyable, you'll maintain your growth habits effortlessly. Consciously choosing empowering beliefs and reinforcing them through your actions is one of the most powerful things you can do for your long-term success. Standards are the minimum levels of performance you accept from yourself in different areas of life. High achievers have high standards and systems that ensure they consistently meet those standards. Your standards might include never missing more than 2 workouts in a row, always keeping your financial commitments, treating everyone with respect regardless of their status, or continuously learning in your field. Standards become automatic when they're supported by clear systems and accountability. Creating what I call success systems ensures that your continued growth happens automatically rather than requiring constant willpower or motivation. These systems include your routines, your environment, your relationships, your learning processes, and your feedback mechanisms. The goal is to design your life so that maintaining high performance and continuous improvement is easier than sliding back into mediocrity. Your learning operating system becomes crucial for lifelong excellence. This includes how you identify what to learn, how you acquire new knowledge and skills efficiently, how you practice and apply what you learn, and how you measure and track your development. The most successful people are almost always the best learners in their field, not because they're naturally smarter, but because they have superior systems for continuous learning and application. Relationship systems become increasingly important as you advance in your career and life. Your network is your net worth. But more than that, your relationships determine the opportunities you're exposed to, the support you receive during challenges, and the accountability that keeps you growing. Systematically building and maintaining relationships with mentors, peers, and people you can help creates a compound effect that accelerates your progress in every area. Financial systems extend far beyond budgeting and saving to include wealth building, risk management, and using money as a tool for creating freedom and opportunities. The habits you've built over the past 6 months are just the beginning. True financial mastery involves understanding how money works, how to make it grow, how to protect it, and how to use it to create the lifestyle and impact you want. Health and energy systems become more sophisticated as you understand the connection between physical vitality and performance in every other area of life. This includes not just exercise and nutrition, but sleep optimization, stress management, recovery protocols, and understanding how different activities and environments affect your energy levels throughout the day. Creating challenge and growth systems ensures that you continue pushing your boundaries and expanding your capabilities throughout your life. This might include annual challenges that force you outside your comfort zone, quarterly skill development goals, or systematic exposure to new experiences and perspectives. Comfort is the enemy of growth, so you need systems that introduce appropriate levels of challenge and novelty. Contribution and legacy systems become important as you develop significant capabilities and resources. The most fulfilling and sustainable success comes from using your growth to benefit others, whether through mentoring, creating value in your profession, supporting causes you believe in, or simply being an example of what's possible when someone commits to excellence. Your review and adaptation systems ensure that your blueprint evolves as you grow and as circumstances change. This includes regular reviews of your goals, systems, and progress, mechanisms for getting feedback from trusted advisors, and processes for making adjustments when something isn't working or when new opportunities arise. Resilience and anti-fragility systems prepare you to not just survive setbacks and challenges, but to become stronger because of them. This includes financial reserves, diverse skill sets, strong relationships, and most importantly, the mental and emotional tools to view challenges as opportunities for growth rather than threats to avoid. The ultimate goal of your personal success blueprint is to create what psychologists call self-actualization, the realization of your full potential as a human being. This doesn't mean perfection. It means becoming the person you're capable of becoming and making the contribution you're capable of making. It means living with intention, growing continuously, and creating value for yourself and others. Remember that your blueprint should be uniquely yours. While you can learn from others and model successful strategies, your specific combination of values, strengths, interests, and circumstances requires a customized approach. The framework is universal, but the specific applications should reflect who you are and what you want to create in your life. Your 6-month transformation has given you proof that you can change anything you commit to changing. You've developed the habits, skills, and mindset that make continued growth inevitable. Now you have the blueprint for applying these capabilities to achieve whatever you decide is important to you. The question isn't whether you can continue growing and achieving. You've already proven that you can. The question is, what do you want to create next? Chapter 11. The Psychology of Peak Performance. Developing an unshakable winner's mindset. The difference between those who achieve extraordinary results and those who settle for average isn't talent, luck, or circumstances. It's psychology. The way you think about challenges, setbacks, success, and your own potential determines everything about what you achieve and how sustainable that achievement becomes. After 6 months of systematic transformation, you're ready to develop what peak performers call the winner's mindset, a way of thinking that makes success inevitable rather than accidental. Peak performers think differently about failure. While most people see failure as evidence that they're not capable or that their goals are unrealistic, peak performers see failure as data. Every setback provides information about what doesn't work, bringing them closer to discovering what does work. They understand that failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the process of success. This reframe eliminates the fear and paralysis that stops most people from taking the risks necessary for extraordinary achievement. The concept of anti-fragility becomes crucial for developing peak performance psychology. This goes beyond resilience, which is the ability to bounce back from difficulties. Anti-fragility is the ability to become stronger because of difficulties. Peak performers actively seek challenges because they understand that overcoming obstacles builds capabilities that can't be developed any other way. They view stress, pressure, and adversity as training opportunities rather than threats to avoid. Peak performers have mastered what psychologists call attribution theory, how you explain events to yourself. When something goes well, they attribute it to their skills, preparation, and effort, which builds confidence. When something goes poorly, they attribute it to factors they can control or improve, which maintains their sense of agency and motivates continued effort. Average performers do the opposite. They attribute success to luck and failure to personal inadequacy, creating a psychological pattern that undermines long-term achievement. The growth mindset versus fixed mindset. Distinction becomes critical at advanced levels of performance. A fixed mindset believes that abilities are static. You're either good at something or you're not. A growth mindset believes that abilities can be developed through effort, strategy, and learning from others. Peak performers have an extreme growth mindset. They believe that any skill can be learned, any challenge can be overcome, and any goal can be achieved with the right approach and sufficient persistence. Peak performers understand the power of mental rehearsal and visualization. They don't just set goals, they create vivid, detailed mental movies of themselves achieving those goals. They visualize not just the end result, but the process of getting there, including how they'll handle obstacles and setbacks. This mental rehearsal creates neural pathways that make success feel familiar and achievable rather than foreign and intimidating. The concept of identity-based achievement separates peak performers from everyone else. Most people try to achieve their way into a new identity. They want to lose weight so they can see themselves as a fit person, or make more money so they can see themselves as successful. Peak performers work in reverse. They first adopt the identity of the person who would naturally achieve those results. Then they act consistently with that identity. They don't try to become disciplined. They see themselves as disciplined people and act accordingly. Peak performers have developed what researchers call executive function, advanced mental skills that include working memory, cognitive flexibility, and inhibitory control. Working memory allows them to hold complex information in mind while working with it. Cognitive flexibility allows them to adapt their thinking when circumstances change. Inhibitory control allows them to resist impulses and distractions that would derail their progress. These skills can be developed through specific practices and become automatic with consistent application. The locus of control concept becomes crucial for peak performance psychology. This refers to whether you believe that outcomes are primarily determined by your actions or by external factors. Peak performers have an internal locus of control. They believe that their results are primarily determined by their choices, efforts, and strategies. This belief makes them more likely to take responsibility for outcomes and persist through difficulties because they believe their efforts will ultimately make a difference. Peak performers understand delayed gratification at a deeper level than most people. They don't just resist immediate pleasures for future benefits. They've trained themselves to find pleasure in the process of pursuing long-term goals. They enjoy the challenge of difficult work, the satisfaction of consistent progress, and the confidence that comes from keeping commitments to themselves. This makes sustained effort feel rewarding rather than sacrificial. The compound effect mindset becomes central to peak performance psychology. Peak performers think in terms of systems and processes rather than events and outcomes. They understand that small, consistent actions compound over time to create extraordinary results. This long-term thinking allows them to maintain effort and enthusiasm even when immediate results aren't visible, because they trust in the power of cumulative progress. Peak performers have developed emotional regulation skills that allow them to maintain optimal performance states regardless of external circumstances. They can access confidence when feeling uncertain, maintain calm when facing pressure, and generate enthusiasm when feeling unmotivated. These aren't natural talents. They're learned skills that can be developed through specific practices and conscious effort. The concept of flow state becomes accessible to peak performers because they've developed the prerequisites for sustained peak performance. Flow occurs when challenge level matches skill level, goals are clear, feedback is immediate, and self-consciousness disappears. Peak performers create conditions that promote flow by choosing appropriate challenges, setting clear objectives, seeking feedback actively, and developing skills that allow them to perform without excessive self-monitoring. Peak performers understand strategic patience, the ability to maintain long-term focus while taking immediate action. They're patient with results, but impatient with implementation. They understand that meaningful achievement takes time, but they're aggressive about taking daily actions that move them toward their goals. This combination prevents both the procrastination that comes from focusing only on the long term and the inconsistency that comes from focusing only on immediate results. The abundance mindset versus scarcity mindset distinction becomes crucial for sustainable peak performance. A scarcity mindset believes that success is limited. If someone else wins, it means less opportunity for you. An abundance mindset believes that success creates more success, that by achieving your goals and helping others achieve theirs, you expand the total amount of opportunity available. Peak performers operate from abundance, which makes them more collaborative, generous, and ultimately more successful. Peak performers have developed what philosophers call memento mori awareness, a healthy consciousness of mortality that creates urgency without panic. They understand that time is limited and precious, which motivates them to use it intentionally and avoid wasting it on activities that don't align with their values and goals. This awareness creates what psychologists call temporal perspective, the ability to see current actions in the context of their entire life. By developing these psychological patterns and mental skills, you create what peak performers call unstoppable momentum. a psychological state where continued success becomes easier than failure, where growth becomes automatic, and where extraordinary achievement becomes your natural way of operating in the world. Chapter 12. Building Influence and Leadership. How to create impact beyond yourself. True success isn't just about what you achieve for yourself. It's about the positive impact you create for others and the influence you build to make that impact sustainable and scalable. As you've transformed yourself over the past 6 months, you've developed capabilities and insights that others need. Learning to share these effectively through influence and leadership multiplies your success and creates meaning that goes far beyond personal achievement. Influence and leadership are skills, not personality traits. You don't need to be naturally charismatic or born with leadership qualities to develop powerful influence. What you need is understanding of how influence works, practice in applying these principles, and commitment to using your influence ethically to create positive outcomes for others. The foundation of all influence is credibility, and credibility comes from competence plus character. Competence is your ability to deliver results, solve problems, and provide value to others. Character is your integrity, reliability, and genuine concern for others' well-being. You've spent 6 months building competence through skill development and consistent execution. Now you need to demonstrate character through how you use that competence to serve others. The first principle of ethical influence is value first. Before trying to influence anyone, focus on providing genuine value to them. This might mean sharing knowledge that helps them solve problems, making connections that create opportunities for them, or simply offering support during challenging times. When people experience you as someone who makes their life better, they naturally become more receptive to your ideas and suggestions. Understanding human psychology becomes crucial for building influence. People make decisions based on emotion and justify them with logic. This means that facts and rational arguments alone rarely persuade anyone. You need to understand what people care about emotionally and connect your ideas to those concerns. When you can show someone how your suggestion helps them achieve something they already want or avoid something they already fear, influence becomes natural. The reciprocity principle is one of the most powerful influence tools available. When you do something valuable for someone, they feel psychologically obligated to return the favor. This isn't manipulation if it's done genuinely and ethically. Look for ways to help others succeed, and many of them will naturally want to help you succeed in return. The key is to give first without expecting immediate returns. Social proof becomes increasingly important as you build influence. People look to others for guidance about what to believe and how to behave. By demonstrating your own success and sharing stories of others who have achieved positive results using your suggestions, you make it easier for people to follow your lead. Testimonials, case studies, and examples of successful implementation all leverage social proof. The authority principle suggests that people are more likely to be influenced by those they perceive as experts or authorities in relevant areas. You build authority through demonstrated competence, educational credentials, recognition from other authorities, and consistent delivery of valuable insights and results. Authority isn't about being superior to others. It's about being recognized as someone worth listening to in specific areas. Consistency and commitment. Leverage people's desire to be seen as reliable and true to their word. When someone makes a public commitment or takes a small action consistent with a larger goal, they become psychologically invested in following through. As an influencer, you can help people clarify their commitments and create systems that make following through easier and more likely. The liking principle reminds us that people are more easily influenced by those they like and trust. You increase liking through genuine interest in others, finding common ground, offering sincere compliments, and demonstrating that you understand and care about their concerns. This isn't about manipulation. It's about building authentic relationships based on mutual respect and shared interests. Scarcity and urgency can be powerful influence tools when used ethically. People value things more when they're rare or time limited. However, these must be genuine scarcity and urgency, not artificial pressure tactics. When you can honestly demonstrate that an opportunity is limited or time-sensitive, it motivates action. But manufactured scarcity destroys trust and undermines long-term influence. Building influence requires understanding different communication styles and adapting your approach accordingly. Some people respond best to data and logical arguments. Others need to understand the emotional benefits and personal impact. Some prefer detailed explanations, while others want concise summaries. The most influential people are versatile communicators who can adjust their style to match their audience's preferences. Leadership influence goes beyond one-on-one persuasion to creating vision and inspiring groups toward common goals. This requires the ability to articulate a compelling vision of what's possible, demonstrate confidence in that vision through your own actions, and create systems that help others contribute to the vision's achievement. Great leaders make others feel that they're part of something meaningful and important. Servant leadership becomes the most sustainable and fulfilling approach to leadership influence. This means using your position and capabilities primarily to serve others' growth and success rather than just your own advancement. When people experience you as someone who genuinely cares about their development and success, they become deeply loyal and highly motivated to contribute to shared goals. Building influence requires consistent personal development and staying ahead of the curve in your field. People follow those who are growing and learning, not those who are stagnant. Continue developing your skills, expanding your knowledge, and seeking new experiences that broaden your perspective. Share what you learn generously with others. Influence networks become crucial for scaling your impact. Rather than trying to influence everyone directly, focus on influencing other influencers who can amplify your message and impact. Build relationships with other leaders, thought leaders, and highly connected individuals in your field. When you influence the influencers, your impact multiplies exponentially. The digital age has created new opportunities for building influence through content creation, social media, and online communities. Consider sharing your expertise and insights through writing, videos, podcasts, or speaking engagements. The key is providing consistent value to your audience while staying true to your authentic voice and message. Remember that influence is a responsibility, not just a tool. The more influence you gain, the more impact your words and actions have on others. Use this responsibility wisely by always considering how your influence affects others' well-being and success. The most sustainable influence comes from genuinely caring about others and using your capabilities to help them achieve their goals while advancing shared purposes. Building influence and leadership capabilities doesn't happen overnight, but with consistent focus and ethical application, you can develop the ability to create positive impact far beyond what you could achieve alone. This multiplication of impact becomes one of the most fulfilling aspects of sustained personal success. Chapter 13. Sustaining motivation and momentum for long-term excellence. Motivation gets you started, but momentum keeps you going. After 6 months of consistent growth and achievement, you've built significant momentum in multiple areas of your life. However, maintaining this momentum over years and decades requires understanding the psychology of sustained motivation and building systems that keep you moving forward even when circumstances change or initial enthusiasm fades. The first truth about long-term motivation is that it's not a feeling you can rely on. Feelings fluctuate based on circumstances, energy levels, hormones, weather, and countless other factors beyond your control. If you depend on feeling motivated to maintain your progress, you'll inevitably experience periods where motivation disappears and momentum stalls. Peak performers understand that motivation is a result of action, not a prerequisite for action. Identity-based motivation becomes crucial for long-term sustainability. Instead of being motivated by external goals or rewards, you're motivated by acting consistently with your identity. A person who sees themselves as disciplined doesn't need motivation to maintain their routines. They maintain routines because that's who they are. A person who sees themselves as a learner doesn't need motivation to study. They study because learning is part of their identity. The concept of intrinsic motivation versus extrinsic motivation becomes critical for sustained excellence. Extrinsic motivation comes from external rewards like money, recognition, or approval from others. While these can be powerful short-term motivators, they often lose their power over time and can actually undermine performance when they become the primary focus. Intrinsic motivation comes from internal satisfaction, the joy of mastery, the fulfillment of contribution, the pleasure of growth itself. Developing what psychologists call autonomous motivation ensures that your drive for excellence comes from your own values and choices rather than external pressure or expectations. When you're pursuing goals because you genuinely value them rather than because you think you should, motivation becomes more sustainable and performance becomes more consistent. Regular reflection on why your goals matter to you personally helps maintain autonomous motivation. Progressive challenges prevent the stagnation that kills motivation over time. When activities become too easy or routine, they lose their ability to engage and motivate you. Peak performers continuously seek new challenges that match their growing capabilities. This doesn't mean constantly changing goals, but rather increasing the difficulty or complexity of your pursuits as your skills improve. Building momentum triggers into your systems ensures that forward movement continues even during low motivation periods. These are specific actions that naturally generate energy and enthusiasm when performed consistently. For many people, physical exercise is a momentum trigger. Even when they don't feel like exercising, doing it anyway typically increases energy and motivation for other activities. The 2-day rule becomes invaluable for maintaining momentum during difficult periods. This rule states that you never allow yourself to go more than 2 consecutive days without performing your most important habits. You might miss one day due to illness, travel, or unexpected circumstances, but you never allow that to become 2 days. This prevents temporary breaks from becoming permanent reversals. Seasonal motivation acknowledges that energy and enthusiasm naturally fluctuate in cycles. Instead of fighting these cycles, smart performers plan for them. They use high-energy periods for intensive growth and challenging projects, and they use lower-energy periods for maintenance, reflection, and preparation for the next high-energy phase. Understanding and working with your natural rhythms rather than against them creates sustainable long-term progress. Building support systems becomes crucial for maintaining motivation when your own reserves run low. This includes accountability partners who check on your progress, mentors who provide guidance during difficult decisions, peer groups who share similar challenges and goals, and even professional coaches who help you maintain perspective and momentum. No one achieves sustained excellence alone. Celebration and recognition systems help maintain motivation by acknowledging progress and achievements regularly. Most people only celebrate major milestones, missing the daily and weekly progress that actually creates long-term success. Build systems for recognizing small wins, maintaining gratitude for progress made, and celebrating consistency as much as outcomes. The learning and growth mindset keeps motivation fresh by ensuring that you're always developing new capabilities and understanding. When you're growing, you stay engaged. When you're stagnant, motivation dies. Commit to continuous learning, whether through formal education, reading, experimentation, or seeking new experiences that expand your perspective and capabilities. Purpose and meaning provide the deepest and most sustainable source of motivation. When your efforts connect to something larger than personal gain, whether that's serving others, contributing to important causes, or creating something valuable that will outlast you, motivation becomes less dependent on temporary circumstances and more rooted in enduring values. Understanding motivation cycles helps you prepare for and navigate the inevitable ups and downs of long-term pursuit. Motivation naturally goes through phases of enthusiasm, routine, boredom, renewed interest, and breakthrough. Knowing that these cycles are normal helps you persist through the difficult phases and make the most of the high-energy phases. Environmental design for sustained motivation involves creating physical and social environments that support continued excellence rather than undermine it. This might mean organizing your space to make good choices easier, surrounding yourself with people who support your growth, or removing temptations and distractions that drain motivation and energy. Future self-visualization maintains motivation by keeping your long-term vision alive and compelling. Regularly imagine yourself 1 year, 5 years, and 10 years from now. If you maintain your current trajectory of growth and excellence, make this vision specific and emotionally engaging. Also visualize what your life would look like if you abandoned your growth trajectory. Both images can motivate continued effort. Building resilience and recovery systems ensures that temporary setbacks don't permanently derail your momentum. Everyone faces challenges, failures, and unexpected difficulties. The key is having systems for quickly recovering from these setbacks and getting back on track. This includes emergency protocols for maintaining minimum standards during crisis periods and recovery rituals for bouncing back after difficulties. Compound motivation occurs when motivation in one area of life supports motivation in other areas. When your health improves, you have more energy for career pursuits. When your career advances, you have more resources for personal development. When your relationships strengthen, you have more emotional support for taking risks and pursuing goals. Building interconnected systems of improvement creates compound motivation that's much stronger than motivation in isolated areas. Remember that sustaining motivation and momentum is a skill that improves with practice. The more you successfully navigate motivation challenges and maintain consistency over time, the better you become at recognizing and addressing motivation issues before they become serious problems. Your 6-month transformation has given you proof that you can maintain motivation and momentum over significant periods. Now, you have the tools to extend that capability indefinitely. Chapter 14. Scaling your success and expanding your impact. Personal transformation is just the beginning. Once you've proven to yourself that you can systematically improve any area of your life, the natural next step is scaling those improvements and expanding your impact beyond yourself. This chapter is about taking the capabilities, insights, and momentum you've built and leveraging them to create exponential rather than linear results in all areas of life. Scaling success requires shifting from addition to multiplication. In the early stages of improvement, you focus on adding good habits, new skills, and better systems. But true scaling happens when you multiply your efforts through leverage, automation, and building systems that work without your constant involvement. This might mean creating passive income streams, building teams that can execute your vision, or developing systems that help others while advancing your own goals. The principle of force multiplication becomes crucial for scaling success. This means finding ways to achieve greater results with the same or less effort by using tools, technology, people, or systems that amplify your capabilities. A single person can reach thousands through content creation, lead hundreds through organizational systems, or influence millions through the people they train and develop. The key is identifying the highest leverage activities in your field and focusing your energy there. Systems thinking becomes essential when scaling beyond personal improvement. Instead of just optimizing individual components, you start optimizing entire systems and understanding how different elements interact to create emergent results. This might mean building business systems that generate income without constant oversight, creating automated investment systems that build wealth over time, or developing relationship systems that maintain connections with hundreds of people efficiently. Building scalable revenue streams becomes important for financial scaling. This means moving beyond trading time directly for money to creating value that can be sold repeatedly or that generates ongoing income. This might include creating digital products, building businesses with recurring revenue, investing in appreciating assets, or developing intellectual property that generates royalties. The goal is creating financial systems that work for you rather than you working for them. Knowledge and skill arbitrage allows you to scale by teaching others what you've learned and helping them achieve results faster than they could on their own. There's almost always a gap between what you know and what others in your field know. And this gap represents an opportunity to create value through coaching, training, consulting, or content creation. Your 6-month transformation has given you insights and capabilities that others would pay to access. Building teams and partnerships becomes necessary for scaling beyond what you can accomplish individually. This doesn't necessarily mean starting a large company. It might mean finding others who complement your skills, partnering with people who serve similar audiences, or building networks of contractors who can help you execute larger projects. The key is understanding your unique strengths and finding others whose strengths complement your weaknesses. Platform building allows you to scale your influence and impact through digital channels. This might mean building an audience through social media, creating a blog or YouTube channel that shares your expertise, developing an email list of people interested in your insights, or building an online community around shared interests or goals. Platforms allow you to reach and influence far more people than you could through individual interactions. The concept of intellectual property creation becomes important for scaling knowledge-based success. This means creating content, systems, processes, or innovations that have value independent of your direct involvement. Books, courses, software, unique methodologies, or proprietary systems can generate income and impact long after you've created them. Your transformation experience contains valuable intellectual property that others would benefit from accessing. Investment and wealth scaling requires moving beyond just saving money to making money work actively for your goals. This includes understanding different asset classes, building diversified investment portfolios, understanding tax optimization strategies, and potentially investing in businesses or real estate that generate passive income. The goal is creating wealth that grows independently of your active work. Building reputation and authority in your field allows you to scale influence and create opportunities that wouldn't otherwise be available. This requires consistently delivering value, sharing insights publicly, contributing to important conversations in your industry, and building relationships with other respected figures. Authority takes time to build, but creates exponential opportunities once established. Geographic and market expansion means taking successful approaches and applying them to new audiences, markets, or geographic regions. A business model that works locally might work nationally or internationally. Skills that create value in one industry might apply to other industries. The key is identifying the core principles that make your approach successful and finding new contexts where those principles apply. Technology leverage becomes increasingly important for scaling in the modern world. This might mean using automation tools to handle routine tasks, leveraging artificial intelligence to enhance your capabilities, using digital platforms to reach global audiences, or creating technology solutions that solve problems for others. Understanding and embracing technology multiplies human capabilities dramatically. Building legacy systems ensures that your impact continues beyond your direct involvement. This might mean training others to carry on your work, creating institutions that embody your values and methods, documenting your insights for future generations, or building businesses that continue creating value long after you're involved. The greatest scaling happens when you create things that have positive impact long after you've moved on to other projects. Network effects create exponential scaling when the value of your system increases as more people participate. This might mean building communities where members benefit from each other's participation, creating platforms where users generate value for other users, or developing systems where each new participant makes the system more valuable for everyone. Network effects create some of the most powerful scaling opportunities in the modern world. The 80/20 principle becomes crucial for identifying which activities to scale and which to eliminate. Often, a small percentage of your activities create the majority of your results. Identifying these high-impact activities and finding ways to do more of them, while eliminating or delegating low-impact activities, creates dramatic scaling without proportional increases in effort. Remember that scaling requires different skills than personal improvement. You may need to develop leadership abilities, business acumen, marketing skills, or technological competencies that weren't necessary for personal transformation. Be willing to invest in learning these new capabilities, as they're often the bottleneck that prevents successful scaling. Scaling also requires maintaining the values and principles that created your initial success while adapting your methods to work at larger scales. The discipline, integrity, and commitment to excellence that drove your personal transformation must be preserved and often institutionalized as you expand your impact and influence. Chapter 15. Your Transformation Legacy. Living a life of continuous excellence and lasting impact. As we reach the end of this comprehensive transformation blueprint, it's time to think beyond the next 6 months, or even the next few years. The principles, systems, and mindsets you've developed create the foundation for a lifetime of continuous growth and meaningful contribution. This final chapter is about cementing your transformation into a legacy of excellence that impacts not just your own life, but the lives of everyone you touch. The concept of legacy isn't just about what happens after you're gone. It's about the impact you create every day through the person you've become and the choices you make. Your transformation over the past 6 months has created a new baseline for how you operate in the world. The habits, skills, and mindsets that seemed challenging to develop are now part of your identity. This transformation becomes your living legacy, a demonstration of what's possible when someone commits to systematic self-improvement. Continuous excellence means that your transformation isn't a destination, but a way of traveling through life. The systems you've built for identifying areas for improvement, setting meaningful goals, executing consistently, and adjusting based on feedback become your permanent operating system. You're no longer someone who occasionally tries to improve. You're someone who naturally and continuously evolves toward your highest potential. Your transformation story becomes a powerful tool for inspiring and helping others. Every person who observes your journey and learns from your example expands the impact of your transformation beyond your own life. By sharing your insights, supporting others in their growth journeys, and demonstrating that dramatic positive change is possible, you multiply the effect of your personal development exponentially. The ripple effect of transformation is often invisible but incredibly powerful. When you improve your life systematically, it affects your family, friends, colleagues, and everyone else in your sphere of influence. Your increased confidence, energy, and capabilities allow you to contribute more to your relationships and professional environments. Your example gives others permission to pursue their own growth and transformation. Building institutional legacy means creating systems, organizations, or frameworks that continue generating positive impact beyond your direct involvement. This might mean building a business that embodies your values and continues creating value for customers and employees long after you're involved. It might mean developing training programs that help others achieve transformation similar to yours. It might mean supporting institutions or causes that align with your values and multiply your impact. Mentorship and teaching become natural extensions of your transformation journey. You have insights, experiences, and capabilities that others need and want to develop. Sharing these through formal or informal mentorship, teaching, writing, or speaking creates ongoing value for others while deepening your own understanding. Teaching what you've learned is one of the most fulfilling ways to create lasting impact. The principle of compound contribution suggests that your impact grows exponentially when you help others develop the capabilities to create their own positive impact. Instead of just helping people solve immediate problems, you help them develop the systems and mindsets to solve future problems independently. This creates generations of positive impact that trace back to your initial contribution. Values-based living becomes the foundation of a meaningful legacy. As you've developed greater capabilities and influence, you've also developed greater responsibility to use those gifts in alignment with your deepest values. Living according to your values, even when it's challenging or costly, creates integrity that inspires others and ensures that your impact is genuinely positive. Building financial legacy means using your improved financial capabilities not just for personal benefit, but for creating ongoing positive impact. This might mean building wealth that allows you to support causes you care about, creating businesses that provide employment and value to communities, or developing investment strategies that support sustainable and ethical enterprises. Money becomes a tool for amplifying your positive impact. Environmental and social consciousness becomes part of your legacy, as you recognize that individual success is interconnected with the health of communities and the planet. Your transformation has given you resources and capabilities that can be directed toward solving larger problems and contributing to positive change at scales beyond your immediate environment. The concept of anti-fragile systems applies to legacy building. You want to create impact that doesn't just survive challenges and changes, but actually becomes stronger because of them. This means building systems and relationships based on fundamental principles rather than specific circumstances, creating value that becomes more important during difficult times rather than less important. Continuous learning and adaptation remains central to legacy building. The world changes rapidly, and lasting impact requires evolving your approach while maintaining your core values and principles. Commit to remaining a student throughout your life, always seeking new insights, perspectives, and capabilities that allow you to create greater positive impact. Your physical and mental health become part of your legacy responsibility. The better you take care of yourself, the longer and more effectively you can contribute to others. Your health practices model positive behavior for others and ensure that you have the energy and capability to fulfill your potential for contribution throughout a long and productive life. Building collaborative networks creates legacy impact that exceeds what you could achieve individually. Partner with others who share your values and complement your capabilities. Support other people's important work, Build communities and connections that create positive impact beyond what any individual could achieve alone. Gratitude and humility become essential characteristics of meaningful legacy. Recognize that your transformation has been supported by countless others: teachers, mentors, authors, family members, friends, and even strangers who contributed to your growth. Use your success to contribute to others' growth rather than just to elevate yourself. Your presence and influence in daily interactions become part of your ongoing legacy. How you treat service workers, how you handle disagreements, how you respond to stress, how you celebrate others' successes. These seemingly small interactions create cumulative impact that shapes your legacy more than any single large achievement. The long-term perspective becomes essential for legacy thinking. Make decisions based not just on immediate benefits, but on long-term impact. Consider how your choices today will affect your capabilities, relationships, and contributions 5, 10, and 20 years from now. This perspective naturally leads to choices that create sustainable positive impact. As you continue beyond this 6-month transformation, remember that you've proven something extraordinary about human potential. You've demonstrated that anyone can systematically improve any area of their life when they have the right approach, tools, and commitment. You've shown that transformation is possible not through lucky breaks or special circumstances, but through the application of proven principles and consistent effort. Your journey from where you started to where you are now is proof that the limits most people accept are largely self-imposed. You've broken through those limits and created a new reality for yourself. More importantly, you've developed the capabilities to continue breaking through future limits and helping others do the same. The principles you've learned: systematic goal setting, habit formation, skill development, mindset management, and continuous improvement, apply to any challenge you'll face and any goal you'll pursue for the rest of your life. You're no longer someone who hopes for change. You're someone who engineers change. Your transformation is complete, but your evolution is just beginning. The person you've become through this process is your launching pad for whatever you choose to achieve next. The question isn't whether you can continue growing and contributing. You've already proven that you can. The question is, what will you choose to create with the capabilities, confidence, and momentum you've built? The world needs people who have done the work to transform themselves and who are committed to using their capabilities for positive impact. You are now one of those people. Your transformation legacy starts with this moment and every moment that follows. Make it count.